Delighted to say I'm joined by Sambo McNaughton to talk about the Antrim hurling final that's on this weekend. Unfortunately, your own Cushendall aren't there, so it's Dunloy against Loughgiel, two other teams that over the years have regularly been in the finals. Dunloy, of course, are the reigning champions. After the two semi-finals, Dunloy beating O'Donovan Rossa 122 to 218, and Loughgiel needing extra time to get through their quarter-final 231 to 518 semi-final, I should say. Who do you think is more impressive getting up to this stage?
Probably you'd have to go with Dunloy in the first half of their game, Shane. They look really good. Keelan Malloy, Sean Elliott, they seem to be having everything under control, but you'd have to worry about Dunloy a few times this year that they've seemed to take the games won and then they took the foot of the pedal, allowed teams back into it. But there were two very, very exciting games to watch now. We were watching them in the pub and that there, and it was great entertainment and very, very exciting out there. Ross St John's has been knocking the doors 3-4 years. They probably would feel they should have us beat a couple of years in a row. But then Ross seems to get their act together now too. They've seen what St John's are doing. They've got their act together and they're back in contention now again too with some fine hurlers out there. They're really good games. But to answer your question, you probably have to slightly favour Dunloy getting into this with the forward line that they have. They seem to have the more tools to win a game than anybody else, but it's a derby game between old rivals, so it could all go out the window. Like, looking forward to that.
Is there much spite between these two teams?
Oh, there's hundreds of years of history there, and they're neighbours, and they'd be classed as old. Loughgiel would be classed as old money in Antrim hurling. Loughgiel were winning county titles when the likes of ourselves and Dunloy weren't. Loughgiel have been there from the word go, and they've got their two All-Ireland titles, and they would be old money, and the likes of ourselves and Dunloy would be new money. If you understand what I mean by that.
I do. So Loughgiel wouldn't like the upstarts coming in to try and upset the old order.
No, and the upstarts love upsetting the old order.
Yeah, absolutely. So what about just a quick word on O'Donovan Rossa, because they've made a bit of a breakthrough this year.
Yeah, Donovan Rossa, without being disrespectful, has passed maybe. Like when I was young, they were a great team. There's some smashing hurlers come down through the years. Charlie Collins, young thing. When I was like 14, 15, Rossa were winning championships for fun, and it was a great team. And then they lost their way for a good number of years. Like, I know they won a championship in maybe 2004, 2005, sometime around there, but they've really not been contesting since. They won an intermediate there many years back, but they really got their act together this year. With boys staying at home, and like young Jim Conley and people like that would have went to America and different things, and they get everybody there. Michael Armstrong, smashing player, absolute smashing player. Beatty would be classed more maybe as a footballer, though he scored 2 goals against us. And everybody, they seemed to get right together, and they were like, it could have been so easy being a all Belfast county final. No, but Ross has definitely got right together, and it's good to see Belfast hurling. I suppose that purists would have loved to see a Belfast final. It would really helped. I feel it would have helped Antrim hurling in that there, but it wasn't to be so.
So looking at that Dunloy Rossa semi-final, was there much of an impact in terms of football? Because a lot of the Dunloy lads play intermediate football, but none of the hurlers played this year. Whereas on the other side of it, Rossa had an awful lot of lads playing football, and a few lads had to come off. I think Stephen Beattie had to come off, and Michael Armstrong had to go up full forward.
Yeah, there's no doubt the games, 2 games a week, 2 championship matches a week. They're playing Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, whatever, right through and out there. But Dunloy was doing the same, to be fair. Like, people don't realise Dunloy's a dual club too, though they played in their intermediate level. But I was talking to an ex-Antrim footballer more than an hour ago. He's a Guinness rep for me, and he was at the Dunloy semi-final last night. Keelan Malloy and Sean Elliott now played, and he says Dunloy are absolutely flying in the football. He says they looked a pure class act. Like, so Dunloy's a dual club too, so you couldn't really say it favoured everybody. It's the year it's in it, and it's keeping people fit. It's a bit of luck. You needed people game time and all that there. It's not like a normal season, but no, I would say that the Rossa Dunloy game, no side could play the trump card. We had more games than you, because both sides were dual clubs, and there were arguably, I think there's 8 men in the Dunloy team playing hurling. So it's roughly the same, I think.
Okay, I was under the impression that they weren't hurling or playing football this year, the hurlers, but obviously I'm wrong.
But what they were, well,
yeah.
Keelan Malloy apparently was the star of the show last night in our football game, and he was the star of the show in the first half in the hurling too.
And how good is he, for those that wouldn't be familiar with him or all that familiar? I know the county final was on TV last year, but how good is this man?
He's good, Shane. He's very mobile, very physical. He can take a score. He does everything right. He sets scores up. He comes very deep, gets the ball, uses it well. Next thing he's up for the off the shoulder pass, nips it over the bar. He's a hard to work with, but he's not on his own now. They've young Owen and Neil, Sean Elliott and Kobe, who's arguably every bit as good. Dunloy on paper, I don't think anybody that would argue the point that they do have the best forward line in Antrim on paper. They're very mobile. They can take a score. They work well together. And Gregory Kane has them going well. And if Dunloy played to potential, if he played to their potential, you kind of have to favour Dunloy. It's going to be a shootout, I think.
And in the semi-final, Dunloy lost Paul Shields, I think, to a hamstring injury. You know, obviously a county player for Antrim. If he's unavailable, how big of a loss would he be? Massive
loss. Shorty would be their quarterback to explain what he does for the team. He can throw things in midfield, goes deep, pops up. He's an experienced head and arguably one of Antrim's best hurlers over the past 20 years. He'll be a massive loss to Dunloy, not only for his hurling ability, but just for his presence, because it always takes a good man to watch Shorty, no matter what he's doing and not there. You know, if Shorty's not there, it's a loss for the game and a big loss for Dunloy.
And if you were Loughgiel, would you be anyway concerned that Donal Nugent with one arm can score 3 goals and a few points with it?
Yeah, I think you have to. No disrespect to Donal Armstrong or Donal Nugent, great player and big strong fella not there, but you'd have to, and if Loughgiel have lost their 2 full backs, like who's going to get in there? Owen McFadden, maybe something like that. I don't know, but you're not going to have a Donal Nugent type player with Dunloy. It's going to be totally different. You're going to have a Cubby or a Keelan Malloy or Owen Neal or somebody that's going to play off a totally different game entirely. But look, Loughgiel seem to be at 6s and 7s at times. They seem to be going well, not there. But Benny McGarry came on, scored 1-3, wasn't even down as a sub. They played against us. He's arguably one of the best forwards in Antrim too. He must have been injured or something, but he'll definitely have to start.
Yeah, so for Loughgiel, those 2 full backs that are missing are Neely McGarry and Tony McCloskey. What about Eddie McCloskey's form? I believe himself and James McNaughton have been big threats.
Yeah, Eddie and James have been both going well this year. Eddie was probably the reason that Loughgiel beat us, the 3. Eddie had the most influence in the game against us. Eddie seems to be back to better form, I think. To be fair to Eddie, I think he hasn't been at his best the past couple of years, but maybe the fact that he's at home and he's focused on the hurling, he's got the bit back between the teeth again, but he's going well. James McNaughton's a real threat too. He's like a mirror image of a Keelan Malloy. What Keelan Malloy does for Dunloy, James does for Loughgiel. Very mobile, good at running at you, pops up, good hand on him, take a score. His free taking was a wee bit iffy in the semi-final, but I'm sure he'll have that sorted out. Not there. Either the 2 of them will have to perform if they're going to beat Dunloy, but they're well capable of. If they had form, Dunloy's going to find it very hard to work with them.
And if like I'm just trying to think back at that Loughgiel team that won the All Ireland in 2012. Has there been a complete transformation of the team since then, or are an awful lot of the same guys still playing?
There's a lot of changes in terms of Johnny Campbell, Barney McCauley, and all that have left the stage, but they still have. Watson's still there. Watson appeared like he didn't have his best game, but he still come off scoring 1-3, and he's still a danger around the square. Like if he gets a ball in his hand, he's a wee bit like what I said about Shorty. He's going to take somebody to watch him and control him that there. But you've got Benny McGarry, who I presume will start in the final. He came off the bench, scored 1-3, and was the reason why Loughgiel's in a county final, I suppose. And that there, you've got Eddie McCloskey still there. There's quite a change, but Loughgiel have a few exciting young players too, and young Sean McGrath and people like that, But no, it should be interesting.
And if you were to call it, or if you were to look at the areas that you think will win and lose at the matchups, what comes to mind?
Well, probably in the sense if you look at the semi-finals, we call it how you see it. Look, he'll struggle with their defence a wee bit against St John's. Dunloy's biggest threat is their forward line, though they don't come with a Donald Nugent who's going to be like a steamroller at full forward, but they do bring another threat. And Dunloy's greatest asset is Kobe, Malloy, Daly, them type of player, O'Neill. They're all going to be moving about, causing problems, and you could argue saying that the Dunloy forward line would suit Loughgiel's back line more than a Donald Nugent sort of character would. So it's going to be interesting. But on paper, what you've seen they did, and you're going, if Dunloy can hurl for 60 minutes, 65 minutes, whatever, and that there, with like they looked in the first half, they were going to walk the semi-final, and then it all just was shorted off, and Ross got the goal, got a bit of momentum, and that to get going. But you'd have to say Dunloy. But the history of the two clubs, the rivalry between the two clubs, like these clubs will not want to lose to each other. Believe you me, they would rather sell their children than lose to each other. Like and that evens it up. Like anything could happen here on Sunday. Anything. Like there's big pressure. The fans is going to play a big part. I wouldn't like to be the gate man only allowing 200 for each club, and I think someone's going to have to look at hiring a few more gate men. Like there is massive, probably as big a rivalry there is in Antrim hurling as Loughgiel Dunloy, because they've been beside us. When I was young, Loughgiel were the top team, and Dunloy were nobodies. And Dunloy came out of nowhere, and now they've 14 county titles or something, and they're one in the junior, they're one in the minor, and that there. And Loughgiel's finding it hard, that there. And Loughgiel maybe trumped them in all Irelands, but Dunloy's coming. But it's a real, how would I explain it, Rangers, Celtic type atmosphere, that sort of mentality. It's good for hurling and it's good for the neutral, and looking forward to that there. But there will be a great atmosphere there. Well, I presume with only 400 at the game, but I'll say there'll be boys hanging off trees and hiding in trees and getting in overnight in camouflage gear or something.
You wouldn't blame him either. Did I get you to pick a winner? No.
I would
Tough
have
one.
to go with Dunloy.
Dunloy, okay.
I would have to, and that's only because I'm on paper. But I wouldn't be one bit surprised if Loughgiel won this. Loughgiel will not lie down to Dunloy. Loughgiel will die with their boots on. William Watson, Eddie McCloskey, James McNaughton, they can cause problems too. If them three hit form, it's Loughgiel's game, and that there. And Dunloy, like I said, the fact that I mentioned Dunloy's strong part is their forward line. It means their backs can be got at, I feel, at times. And Watson's, yes, you wouldn't know. I would love this for the crack. I would like to see Watson go at it again. No, for the banter of it, and he would love this. Watson would love this. He'll love a crack at Dunloy and come out the hero again. You never know. It's interesting, but if I had to put money on it, I would probably swing with Dunloy.
Okay, brilliant stuff, Sam McNaughton. Appreciate you joining me, and enjoy the game on Sunday.
No worries, Jim. Talk to you again.